Hey you guys, so I am back with the book review for the book For My Pastor 2. I believe I reviewed the first book in this series. I would say it was probably about at least 5 months ago. So I definitely was able to read it with a fresh set of eyes. The author of the book, her name is Aundrya Schnel, and I really had enjoyed the first book. Now I am going to say, while I would recommend that you do read the first book before you read this book, you're able to actually kind of pick up with this book without having read the first book, and still understand what's going on. So I like that she wrote it like that, but I still would recommend that you read the first book because the first book had me like, what the hell? And I really did enjoy that book. So now in this book, the main character to me is Veronica Davis, right? And Veronica is married to her husband, Tyrus, and they're both very active in their church. And Veronica is at the point where she's kind of like about to become like an elder of the church. Like she's about to get ordained to be in this like really high position in the church. And in order to be able to do that, she has to go through a series of interviews and answer a lot of questions that they have for her. They want to know a lot of personal things about her home life. She has 3 kids with her husband. And they want to know about her background. They want to know about like her parents. They want to know everything because I get it. Their intentions are good. They want to know who they have being like a leader in their church. Some of the questions are just so invasive to me that I'm just like, yeah, this is probably why I don't go to church no more. Because people be in your business a little too much. But it starts off the book with a conversation that Veronica is having with her sister. So her sister's name, let me make sure I'm saying it right. I believe her sister is Tatiana, right? I want to say her sister is Tatiana. But the thing is, like, she's talking to her sister. And her sister and her brother Jacoby, I want to say is his name. They're both kind of telling her, we know you went through some things in your past. We know. But the fact that you're getting ready to go into this higher position in the church, don't you think you should tell them before they start asking questions? And she's kind of like, no, that's my secret from my past. It happened 22 years ago. I'm not going to bring up what I did or what happened. I've put that behind me. She's kind of even telling them, there's parts of her secret that happened that her own siblings aren't even aware of. This book definitely touched on some things that are definitely needing to be discussed more when it comes to churches. Definitely Black churches, things that go on in the Black community as far as how things are covered up, how things are swept under the rug, the elephant that's often in the room when it comes to when you have a 30-year-old man that becomes sexually involved with a 16-year-old. It has a lot to do with that. It has to do with a lot with how some people are oh, they had a sexual relationship and she was fast and she knew what she was doing. And you have other people who say that was rape, because when you have a 30-year-old and a 16-year-old, chances are that's usually still a minor. So it's interesting to see how each character in this book reacted to what happens when her secret comes out, because she did her best to hide it. And what kind of bothered me was when her secret was literally looking her dead in the face, she's still denying it. And it's just at some point after a certain age, you have to accept what's done is done. And instead of denying it, how she just flat out lied at some points. She's honestly risking losing her husband. She's risking losing everything that the church has earned and worked for. I think it's interesting to see how the pastor responded when allegations were brought to him and when certain things were uncovered. It was interesting to see how the pastor had his own vested interest in hiding the truth and hiding what was clearly right there in people's face. So if you guys are looking for a book that's definitely going to catch you off guard, it's not that long. My tablet's saying that it's 80 pages. I know for a fact I read this book in one sitting because I was I was into it. And I'm how is this going to play out? Because when something's going to blow up in someone's face, it. But I just had to see it for myself. I was just waiting for it. So this book, I would definitely give a 5 out of 5 stars, because it's not even like, I can't even sit here and say like, oh, because I enjoyed the first book so much. It's been so long since I read the first book, you guys, that like, that didn't even cause me to be biased. I really actually enjoyed this book by itself. And again, like I said, if you didn't read the first book, you could even just read this one, and still be able to see like the author really took her time with this book. I even liked it because it's like, you don't even see spelling errors throughout the book. It's not one of those books that's like riddled with spelling errors and you're like, okay, what's happening here? Like, it wasn't like that. So the quality of the book was good. The storyline was good. These characters are an absolute trip. The ulterior motives throughout this book were crazy. And it's funny because you expect people that go to church to hold themselves to a higher standard. And a lot of times that's not always the case. Sometimes even the people in the pulpit are some of the main people hiding secrets because they have their own interests that are possibly at risk if the truth comes out. And it's definitely an eye-opener. So you guys, check out this book. If you read the first one, please comment below and let me know. If you have, like, if you're going to read this book, you know you're probably going to. Because it really was a good book. If you plan on reading this book, or if you're going to add it to your TBR list for the year, let me know and comment below. So that's all I have to really say about this book before I ramble on for like a whole 15 minutes, because I definitely could do that. I just don't want to give away any spoilers and I don't want to say too much. So for now, you guys, I am out.